let's start off with just the very beginning on who helped you start your video journey. Like, who are you looking at? Who inspired you? Where did that start? And that question could go to all three of you guys. And then are we passing a mic around, or how does that work?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
So for me, I came into this kind of knowing that I wanted to do social media. I remember sitting in my office or like a little cubicle that I had, and these guys had just came back from door knocking, and you know, they're all sweaty and they're looking at me. I had nothing on in my cubicle, and they're like, "What are you doing, bro?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to post a video." And they're like, "Get to work. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time." And I was like, "All right." And I just remember thinking in my mind, like, well, we're gonna see one day, right? And I was fully committed. And then my mentor at the time, where I was with Remax Top Producers, Christian Fuentes, I know a lot of you guys know him. Oh, yeah. We went, I sat down with him one-on-one, and I was posting a couple times a week, maybe a few times a month. And he's like, "Dude, you're great. You can do this. Do more video." And I'm like, "I'm posting 3 times a week. Like, what do you want?" He's like, "Do more." And then that was really the catalyst for me taking it serious. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going all in. So I don't know if there's a specific person, but just from the people I was able to surround myself, I knew that I didn't want to be 60 years old and still doing open houses. And I was like, hey, the way to get out of that is I'm gonna do social media. So
what about you guys?
Jeff, let Jeff go.
I mean, I had a full-time job, and Robert's like, "Bro, you got to quit and you got to film content." That was it. And I was like, bro, like, hey, I had a union job, so I had benefits. I have kids. Like, I was making good money. And I'm like, what the, like, I'm not going to do that, right? And he was like, just do it. And that's what happened, man. So it was Robert. Robert was kind of that driving force behind me going into it.
Yeah, and for me, it was honestly kind of more of the opposite. I was a failure at a real estate agent for about 8 years. Tried door knocking, tried cold calling, tried everything. Just felt like couldn't figure it out. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna try posting on social media. So I started posting on social media, and I remember even one of my friends, I'm sure you guys have all been in a situation where somebody tells you about another agent, and you're like, I don't wanna hear about that other agent, like, I'm your agent, you know? And one of my friends was like, hey, you gotta post like Robert, and I'm like, man, whatever, Robert. So then I realized like, oh, what he's doing is actually working. So I just went hard, and I just started going to every single house, just started posting and posting, but I was all over the place. My videos weren't really good. They were like, all shaky, they were all fast. And then me and Robert ended up connecting. We bumped into a house in Eastville that we were both going to be filming, and he was like, yeah, bro, like, I'm gonna help you out. So then he kind of gave me some structure, he gave me some guidance, and basically implemented everything that he just went over right now, just in more detail. And it totally transformed my business, totally transformed my life. So pretty much got it all from Rob.
Awesome. I got my mic.
Yep. There you go.
All right, so you said think like a creator, not like an agent. So I had a media company. That's how I got into this industry. And I always, when I'm teaching the agents like how to do this, that is the number one thing that I am always trying to get them to think like. The way that they frame their content, shoot their content, the type of content that they put out. I don't want it to look like normal real estate stuff, right? That everyone else is posting, like you said, home tours or just solds that are super basic. How are you getting into that mindset of thinking like a creator versus an agent?
For me, we're ripping off what other people are doing in different industries, right? I don't want to be like any other realtor out there that's posting realtor content. So I'm looking at Hermosi, Pineda, and I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm like, okay, well, how can we take what they're doing and just implement it into our business? Because those guys are providing true value, right? Their whole business is based off value. So that's how we're able to take what they're doing and then duplicate it, but just put our own twist into it. And then also looking at other realtors who are doing a great job, right? We have like Nava Realty in Dallas. I know probably most of you guys know who that is. Him and I would actually do like this versus thing when Reels first came out. And that was a big catalyst for us coming out. Like I got in early with Nava, we've communicated. And then I was like, all right, well, he's doing this. I'm just going to keep, it's working for him in Texas. I'm going to keep doing that. So it's really just ripping off what other people are doing, staying on top of the trends as much as possible, and working with that. So, and yes.
You guys don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
I'll kind of add something to that. So having that creator mindset, I agree with Rob 100%, but I think all of us already have that creator mindset. It's just your fear of the criticism that's actually blocking it from coming out. You're caring too much about, is my post going to get this many likes? Is my post going to get this many views? And you're constantly comparing it to other people instead of going back to the first point. It's not about you. It's about the consumer. think from the consumer's perspective, what would be valuable to them? And then just go make it. And don't worry about the views. Don't worry about nothing else like that. And just keep pumping it out. Just keep pumping it out. And eventually one of them's going to hit. And once you have a big enough sample size to see like, hey, I put out 20 pieces of content, maybe my average one gets 200 views, right? First off, don't compare it to the person that's getting 20,000 views. But secondly, look at the video that got 800 and go, oh, why did this one do better? And boom, make more of the one that did 800 and then do another 20 and then just kind of build off that. So I think having that creator mindset is not so much like, oh, trying to tap into something, but just getting out of your own way. We care too much about what other people think. And that's going to be your biggest block to success on social media, because it's just like, it's already in you. You just got to let it flow.
Yeah, I agree. And that perfectly transitions to my next question, which is, how are you thinking about, or how do you know what the audience wants? What are they looking for? What are you searching for on social media, or what are you hearing from feedback? How are you figuring that part out?
Well, we have a huge sample size for us. We post quite a bit, where we're posting multiple times a day. So we know what works, and we're able to take what works and keep and continue to do that same thing. So, and then we see what other realtors are doing and what works for them. And it's like, all right, well, we're going to put our own spin into it and test it. So it's all about testing, right? Ray's kind of hit it on the head with, like, everyone's so afraid of, like, if I post a video and it gets 800 views, like, I failed. No, it doesn't work that way. We'll post videos, it'll have 800 views, it'll have 6,000 views, and we have thousands and thousands of followers, and then we have one that has 350,000 views. That's how it works. It's like, all right, well, that worked, I'm going to do that again. And then we're going to go and we're going to suck. Oh, okay, that one worked, we're going to go do it again. So it's about just continue to do it, and you're going to find what actually works. But if you don't ever do it, you're never going to find out. So when in doubt, like, just press post.
Yep. And what, for this whole process of creating everything, you said you have a 15-point process. Can you go over that a little bit? You
Yeah.
just have it memorized? I don't know.
It's not so much like a 15-point process, but it's like we try to get 15 type of videos scripted out, right? So we go through it. Justin's our idea guy. He's known for that. He's a young stud on our team. And we'll sit there and be like, all right, what 15 videos are we going to create? Right? And we'll sit there and, all right, that works, that doesn't, let's scratch that. So it's about putting attention to it. We don't go to places to film just to film. We go with a plan, right? We put attention to it. We spend time on a notepad to write down the process, cross out what's going to work, what's not. This is what we're going to test today. We're going to do our traditional, 5 videos. So, like, let me give you an example, right? It's like, okay, what's the theme of this week for us? So the theme of this week for us, let's say we have a new community coming out, Banner Park. We're going to go and we're going to talk about that launch, right? And that's the whole theme. We're going to make talking videos about that launch. We're going to get people to get there. Make sure you get in early on phase 1, and that's what we're doing. So what's the theme? What kind of videos do we need to make for that theme? And then script it out.
Theme, content type, and then scripting out.
Yeah, and then you just giving it the attention. It needs attention, guys. You guys need to sit there. I know, we talk about writing down goals. We talk about writing, like, affirmations, all this stuff, but giving it the attention of actually scripting out your video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the what's going on behind the scenes with that whole thing. Kind of expand on it. What's the process look like?
Okay. Want to shout out a little bit?
Sure. Honestly, the process starts with that guy right there, Justin. Yeah. We mess around, call him the idea man, but really it's him. I'll be filming a video and he's like, that was trash. Do it again. And I'm sitting there like, this freaking guy, right? So Justin's a real driving force behind helping us get all this stuff together, like really be prepared for the content day.
Yeah, and I would add to it, like, I think a great idea for you guys is partnering up with somebody, right? And sitting down is like, hey, you and I are going to go film. We're going to film each other. We're friends. We're not going to, pay $600 for a videographer or whatever. We're going to go film each other. Let's sit down for 30 minutes and let's go over ideas. And you guys would be astonished of, like, what you guys can come up with. And then you're like, okay, what's my personality? Do I want to do fun stuff? You guys, you guys seen a video of me running, or some of you guys, I'm 270 pounds. I have no business running that fast, right? Or moving. I thought I was moving fast. But that's the video that I want to put out there. Justin kind of gets upset with me sometimes, like, hey, you got to be a little bit more serious, more business minded. But that's my personality. I mess around a lot. I like to have a good time. So that's the type of video. And then we've done so much video, we get there, I'm like, Justin, I'm gonna run, ready, run, go, and I'm running. So that's how we process it. But if you guys were to team up with people and write down, hey, 10 ideas, you guys would come up with so much things you guys don't even understand. So
You're okay. So another thing that you guys can do, like, all right, well, what can I do right now? If I was starting today, this is literally exactly what I would do. One, I would open up TikTok, I would open up Instagram, and I would start looking at all the realtors that are crushing it. I would pick and choose which videos I like and which ones are doing good. If you don't know, right now, short videos, 10 to 12, 13 seconds, are crushing it right now. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm going to do something like that. Then I will kind of look at myself and go, well, what's me? I'm not going to be kind of like the funny guy, or I'm not going to be kind of like the serious guy who does all the green screens, right? I kind of found my lane, right? So kind of find your lane a little bit. And then another thing you want to do is just like, when you're looking at these other people's content, don't be afraid to just copy it, right? People copy our content. I copy other people's content. You're going to make it your own, and that's okay. Don't screen record their video and repost their video. Like, don't do that. People have done it, right? But like, look at other people's content that is really killing it right now, and just go out, make it your own, reproduce it, and then you're going to be astonished by like, oh wow, like this stuff really does work, right? But yeah, like Rob was saying, Justin does come up with a ton of great ideas for us. And if you put it on an idea and it doesn't do good, who cares?
don't delete.
Like, just leave it up there. You want to know why? Because sometimes you could post a video, it doesn't do good today, and you forget about it. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, what the heck? Like, this video has like 80,000 views and you would have never known, right? But we delete it just because we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. So like, look at what's working for other people. That's going to be like a cheat code for you, right? And then just go and make it your own.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and a lot of people, I'm hoping nowadays, 2024, not as many people are thinking that it's just dancing on TikTok as social media, right?
Yes.
There's all kinds of different styles that you can do. So you kind of pointed out, there's funny videos that can be completely successful. Yeah. There's the educational videos, which is super important. And then, like what you guys are doing with the property tours and the client appreciations, you're showing what you do on the day-to-day, and you're showing the success of it. So, one of the big things that you were talking about too was going from the DMs to the CRM.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the biggest things that our agents struggle with is they're creating content and maybe they get a little views, maybe they're getting a little hate, which I always say once you get hate, you're winning. That's the first step. But how do you take it to the next level and go to CRM?
Literally, guys, you guys have to know that you're the professional and you just have to ask for the number. Right. So what's the process? Here's the information. And we always end our DM, our response with a question. Never do we end a DM without a question. Would you like to schedule a showing? Are you looking for something like this? Is this the price range you're considering? Right. Yes. Hey, let's schedule a call. What's a good number to call? That's the magic line. If you guys didn't know, right? That's literally it. There's nothing behind it besides what's a good number to call. And then after that, what's a good time, right? But I'm going for the number. I'm not going to mess around. What are the details here? Hey, I can go over the phone call. And if they don't respond, great. I'm moving on to the next prospect.
So the agents are doing, or you guys are doing property tours.
Yeah.
And they're messaging you about those properties. That's the general engagement that you get for the first time.
So we like to create the engagement. We leave numbers out. We leave prices out. It pisses people off, and I love it. Right. And I go on their page and they're selling a t-shirt and they don't have any prices. They're like, all right, go figure. Right. So we leave stuff out. So it's a guessing game. Guess who's a professional? I am. They got to reach out to me for the information. So we make that really clear because if we give everything out, they don't need to come to us. They can go directly there. Right. So it's a mystery. A lot of the stuff is like, hey, it looks like a $600,000 home, but it could be 1 million. I don't know. Let me reach out to these guys. We engage with them, and then RVAs, and this is more on the higher level. Right now we have virtual assistants who are going back and forth with these people, and we're focusing on creating the content and making phone calls. So RVAs are taking care of the DMs, the comments, all that. Yes.
I have a question. So you said there was a program that you guys use when you're doing engagement where you say, hey, comment this, and then you have that program send out things. What program is that?
ManyChat.
ManyChat?
Yeah, ManyChat. So I think Jeff can probably go over that a little bit later.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's a big ManyChat guy. So
yeah. And by the way, we're open to questions. So if you guys have any questions right now, this would be a perfect time to start asking them.
What CRM are you guys using?
Lofty CRM, yeah. So it used to be Chime. So we do everything through there. Our text codes, we do all our campaigns. So it's our VA puts them into our CRM, and they're getting bombarded. Like they're gonna get hit, they're gonna get called 10, 12 times the first few days if they don't answer, and then until one of our agents captures that lead. And if they don't, let's say they go, they've been called 17, 20 times, then they get put in an automatic campaign, and we're hitting them.
So I would say the best CRM is the one that you actually use, but
100%.
what are your thoughts? Like, does it matter? Are you using that one for a specific reason?
No, it just comes with our brokerage, and it was cheaper. So,
okay.
But you're absolutely right. Like if it doesn't matter what CRM, I've heard great things about Follow Up Boss. We used KV Core before. KV Core wasn't as great as Lofty, I would say. I liked it. They didn't as much. We had Chime. No, not Chime. Sorry. Sync. Sync was another good one. It was just a little too complicated for what we were doing. So, but yeah, guys, use your CRM. That's the first thing. We have a mastermind, and when people come into our mastermind, that's the first question I ask them: what CRM are you using? And they're like, we don't. I'm like, all right, well, you're not ready for this mastermind. You got to get on a CRM. Because if you're not keeping up with your clients, whether your business is referrals or whatever it may be, we're able to buy back so much of our time by using the CRM in our campaigns. So it's not us actively having to do everything.
Okay.
2 questions. Do you guys tour learning ops or let's go with this?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we tour new construction communities, and then I tour a bunch of like pre-existing homes, right? That's what we call them. But what you want to do is make sure you always get permission from the listing agent and always give them credit. So the best way I go about it, and I don't mind sharing this template that I have, I send it out to everybody. Just know that some agents are going to say yes, some agents are going to say no, and some are not going to respond. It's all part of the game. I just sent out a quick text message. I said, hey, this is Reyes with Real Brokerage. Would it be okay if I took a quick video of your listing on whatever street and whatever city to share on my social media to try to find you a buyer? You'd be surprised, bro. I've had people at $400,000 houses, been on the market for over 100 days, tell me absolutely not. And I've had people with $2.5, $3 million listings tell me in 5 seconds, yeah, cool, go for it, right? So what you want to do is ask for permission, put their information in the description, right? Like listed by their name, their brokerage, their DRE number, the MLS number, and then put marketed by your name, your DRE, your brokerage, right? And you're going to be good to go. When it comes to new construction, basically you can pretty much go to any of them. You just got to ask, build a relationship with the sales rep in there, walk in there, say, hey, my name is Reyes. I'm a Real Brokerage. I have a ton of clients looking in the area. Want to see if I could take some videos of your model homes, share them on my social media, bring you some buyers. They're going to love you for it, except for Lennar. They're not going to let you, well, they just don't go there, right? Yeah. But yeah, we basically go to new construction. We go to pre-existing homes, and just make sure you have permission from them and you give them their credit first.
Say that part for the description that you said, the marketed by and all that, because that's super important.
Yeah, so in the description, and just so you know, like Robert said, he doesn't put the price. I put the price. I'll put the price in the video, and people will still say, what's the price? So like, it doesn't matter, right? But in the description, you basically want to put, and what I do, I'll copy the address, I'll plug it into like Safari, whatever. I'll go to Zillow, and on Zillow, it'll say listed by. I just copy and paste everything. The only thing I remove is their phone number, but that's okay. You don't have to put their phone number, right? Make sure you put their name, their DRE number, their brokerage, the MLS number, and then underneath put your information. I like to put marketed by, so it's very clear that's not my listing, right? But that's the best way to go about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have 2 questions. Were those videos you guys are shooting between 5 to 15? Are you just recycling those videos, or is there a marketing calendar that you post like Monday through Sunday, 2 videos a day?
Yeah, so a lot of the videos, you guys would be surprised, we use them over and over and over. Like there's a video I probably post like 9 different times, and it does well. And every time it does it, we get leads, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna keep posting the same video, and I try to recycle it every 4 to 6 weeks. I'm posting that same video. There's a video where I'm like 20 pounds lighter, and I just post it all the time. It's like gas is like $3.95, and so it was a good time.
2, are all you guys good at drone and videoing, or do you have a video drone guy that's
we kind of just learned how to do it ourselves. And I think like part of the course is like we teach you guys how to actually film. So it's like me and Justin walking, hey, stand here, walk this way, move this way. And that's kind of breaking down the process of filming it because we've just done it so much already. Usually the guys on our team flying the drones, and then I fly the drone for the most part. Justin and Jeff are trying to get me off recording any content anymore, but I just enjoy it. So I'm like, I'm the boss. I got to do what I want. So it's us right now.
So another thing with that, because I know a lot of people, obviously you have great content.
Yeah.
That's very professional, but a lot of people think that they need that to start and have all the gear and everything. So what do you do for that? What's your advice?
Just do it, right?
With your phone, right?
With your phone, yeah. We all have a phone. If you have an Android, you start walking, outside the door. But if you have an iPhone and you're listening, yeah, that is true. Yeah, we almost let go of somebody on our team because he messed up the whole group chat. But yeah. I mean, if it works, right? But basically,
That's the Android users, right?
Yeah. You can tell.
I was there for a long time.
I can smell them. Yeah. Yeah. But really, it's you want to film at 1080 or HD on iPhone, right? It's HD 60. It's gonna look a lot better than HD 30. It's gonna make all of a difference. I know Reyes shoots on 4K. I don't need to shoot on 4K. I don't know why he does it. His videos always come out great. So maybe I'm just doing something wrong. But literally HD 60, it's gonna make a huge difference. So it's 1080, it's 60 frames per second. I think that's what it is. But it's literally everything's on our phone, right? You can connect mics to your phone. You can connect a gimbal. I highly suggest a gimbal. Somebody like me, I'm doing a selfie video and I'm shaking. You want a gimbal, right, to keep it stable. So I have a bag, and maybe I can show you guys what I have in there, but it's literally, I have a gimbal. We use a GoPro for outside just because it's super stabilized. You don't need a GoPro. Start with your phone, start there, and then once you've proven to yourself that I'm going to do content, then you can go get the GoPro. You can get the Sony cameras. You can get the drone. But first start with this because this has everything you need. Bless you. And then film everything in 0.5 if you can, right? And if you don't have 0.5, it's time for a new phone. So yeah, that'd be my best advice. Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's solid.
Thank you, Jeff.
So when it comes to the videos, you're asking like if you could recycle them, right? So that's part of going in and being intentional about what you're filming, right? So you can go ahead and get those 7, 8, 10 different clips, right? Or different types of videos. So you can repost the same video, but it's going to be a different type of video, right? And then when you find one that does really good, like there's a community in Riverside, Vistas at Mockingbird Canyon. There's a plan right there where it has a huge swimming pool. We call it All Reliable. I post that thing, honestly, probably like once a week. And every time I post it, it does really, really well. And when it comes to filming, it's just an iPhone, bro. Like, I just do everything off my iPhone. I don't have a drone. I don't have any of this other crazy stuff. I just film it on the iPhone. You could film it in 8K. Instagram's going to default it to 1080 anyways, right? So that part doesn't really matter. But if you have something that does good, just keep recycling it. And then maybe just change the title. Like, something that's going to work really well for you guys as well is you have to have a catchy hook. Your video has to have something catchy on it. If you notice all my videos, they'll say dream home. It'll say 7 bedrooms. It'll say no HOA. That's the shit. Oh, sorry, but
You're good.
that's the shit that people like, right? And also too, some of the best content is going to be that raw content, right? We've all seen the videos of the super professional, like, I'm sitting in my office and guess what? Those videos never really do too good, right? And then you have homeboy out in the sun. He's all sweating. He's all like, and he's like, hey, today we're out here at this community. And that video just takes off, right? So again, just use your iPhone, shoot it on whatever high quality you could on it. Go in there and just get like as many different content ideas as you can. And something else that's going to help is like, one, having the research so you kind of see what kind of content is working. And then 2, just filming a bunch of stuff. And then when you go back home, you can chop it up and you can take bits and pieces and you can kind of recreate different videos from there. But yeah, that's pretty much how like we go about it.
Our focus is IG. Everything else doesn't really matter for us. It's just kind of there. So we'll post on IG, and then our VA will post on all the other platforms. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, they'll do all that. And we get results from TikTok mostly. So our two biggest ones right now are TikTok and IG, but IG is the focus always. And the rest doesn't matter. Just in case something happens to IG, we can hop over to the next platform and adjust to what that platform is looking for. And it's all about adapting always, right? Numbers are down a little bit right now. Our numbers and views and likes are down, but our leads aren't. So it's just, all right, well, we had to make a pivot. Now we just got to post more videos, right? ESPN, they get a lot of views, but they have like ESPN's, WNBA. They have the ESPN NBA. They have all these stuff that kind of funnel into one, and so that's kind of something we've been trying to recreate.
And then one tip, don't post it on Instagram, save the video, and then post that with the watermark on TikTok. So no watermarks. When you're reposting or repurposing, no watermarks.
Yeah.
Two things. One, how many days a week are you filming? And two, how many posts a day are you posting?
Okay. Question. So this is a great question. We're trying to film at least once a week. Sometimes if we get in two, great. You don't need to do that. Our production is just volume. Start off with maybe once every 2 weeks, right? Just get enough videos where you're able to start posting, right? Because if you guys could get consumed with like, hey, how many days do I need to go create content? Now you go create content for 5 days, but you didn't do anything else. You didn't prospect, you didn't work, and you pretend like that was work, right? Our heart of our business is still prospecting, but going back to the content, one of the big things is when we first start out, we always tell agents that are going to start posting is start off with 3 times a week and do that for 2 weeks, and then do 5 times a week and do that for 2 weeks, and then you do one for every day for 30 days, right? So now you're kind of like 60 days in or so, and now you're finding out what's working, but you can't miss. You got to stick to your plan, right? And then you're like, okay, well maybe I can just go to 5 because 5 really worked for us. So for us, right, we have 4 pages that we run full steam ahead. We're posting two posts a day on each page, and we're posting about 8 times a day. We're posting about 25 times a day on all the platforms, and it seems like a lot, but we didn't start that way, right? We started with 1 a day, right, or 3 a week. So finding out what works, and then we have people part of our mastermind that do it at a really high level. I know some of you guys probably follow Carlos Elizarde, and they post 3 to 6 times a week, and he has over 80,000 followers, right? So you just got to find what works for you.
So with that being said, I see a lot of agents get told post 3 times a week, or here's your calendar, or something along those lines. So the agents know that they need to do it, but they never find time to actually do it. They get caught up in their actual day. So they know exactly what they need to do. They get the list of content that they need to do, and then you say go, and they go back to their routine after that, and they can't get into the shooting. How do you overcome that hump that you have to start shooting?
I think it's accountability, right? 1, you got to hold yourself accountable, but 2, find somebody else that wants to film, right? And it goes back to like coming up with ideas. Hold each other accountable, right? Because who's going to hold the camera? Well, my friend is, right? Who's going to hold it? Like, we don't have a videographer. It's just us filming each other. That's what it is. So it's putting it on the schedule. Schedule is huge. Nothing happens outside of our schedules. We know that, right? I think somebody just asked, Laura just asked, hey, you guys available next Tuesday and Wednesday? And we're like, hey, I got to check my schedule, right? So nothing happens if it doesn't go on the schedule. If you were to look at my schedule last week, it was insane. But I had 2 full days of filming, and I was dying. Like, I was up in Victorville. I will never go back. But I was dying up there. But it was on the schedule, so it got done. So you guys got to take this serious and actually give it the time that it needs. Put it in your schedule. I'm gonna mastermind for 30 minutes with my partner. Right? We're gonna come up with the script. Okay. After that, 30 minutes to drive there. Okay. And then I'm gonna film for an hour. Okay. We film for an hour. We come back, and then I'm gonna take tomorrow. I'm gonna edit for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. So that's how we do it.
To kind of just piggyback off that a little bit, the easiest way is just going to pick one day out of the week and then just delegate that for filming content, right? So like for me, it's either a Friday or a Saturday. I'm going to go out and I'm going to film. But you also have to look at the different layers of it, right? One, it starts with just being really committed, right? If you're not committed to filming, you're probably not committed to prospecting. You're probably not committed to waking up when you say you're going to wake up, right? So it really starts with you. The second thing is that you're actually going to gain a lot of confidence because you're going to become more competent as you're visiting these houses and these communities, right? How come you don't want to make the calls? How come you don't want to do this? Because you actually don't know what you're talking about, right? That's just the reality of it. But when you go visit these 5 houses and somebody picks up the phone, they call you, you're gonna know what houses are going for in Riverside or in Ontario. Or somebody calls you, you're gonna be like, I've been in that house. I have a video. Let me shoot that over to you. You're gonna create more value for yourself that way, right? So the easiest way is just really make a commitment, stick to it, pick a day where you're gonna go and like that's all you're gonna do, right? And if you can pick time to go ahead and say like, hey, I'm gonna create content at this time, that's great. I wish I was like that. I'm not. I'm up at 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning making a video for the next morning, right? So it's just also like, how obsessed are you? How bad do you actually want to win? Is this something that you just want to try out and be like, I gave it a try? Or is this something where you're like, hey, come January 1st, 2021, I'm going to be fucking crushing it because my social media took off. 2025, whatever it is, the same thing.
So I think that there's always a mental block with not seeing the results because it's like a very delayed gratification. So what year did you guys all start shooting content?
Oh, this is a good example right here.
Yeah. For me, it was like end of 2022 when I started the new build page.
All right, real quick, and then what was yours? When did you start?
Like taking off,
No, when did you first start?
Filming.
2018.
2018. And what was your year?
Like 2015.
Okay, and then when did you start seeing results start to come in from this?
Like an actual client was about 9.5 months in.
And that's already with like systems that we had built out for it. For me, 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. And
Like
you went
8
8 years
like
before
8 years.
seeing anything. So you went 8 years and then started filming, and then what happened there? Which one is your page again?
Mr. Real Estate.
Mr. Real Estate.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
7,000-8,000 followers.
So you started with 0 followers, and you were just a real estate agent, not shooting content. Okay. And then when did you start?
So, I mean, I had like 1,000 followers for pretty much most of my career, and it was basically people from high school and a couple from college. And I had always been posting. It just sucked. Like my posting just sucked. I didn't know what I was doing. And then it really took off when Robert and Jeff both told me like, hey, like you need to do this, you need to do that. I already started to create a little bit of a buzz, but it was just like I said, all over the place. And I'm a big believer in the course that they put together because like that's what I did. Right? They told me, go do this, go film that, do this kind of video, do that kind of video, go buy a gimbal. Like, you're all over the place. And I just did what they told me to do. I didn't second guess them. I didn't ask a bunch of, well, I asked a bunch of questions actually. But, like, I just, whatever they told me to do, I just went and I did it. And after I did it, that's when I would come back and have questions. But everything that they have laid out in the course that they put together, there's no reason why someone can't get it. Start today, and as little as 30, 60, 90 days, start closing deals because of it.
Yeah. So what is your advice for people to understand that and comprehend that time that it takes?
It's gonna take time. You have to commit. The way I laid it out was like door knock, open houses, cold call, social media. I get to smile. I get to be on video. People get to see, who I am. I get to do this cool stuff now. I'm gonna choose this, right? And that was my commitment. Nothing else is gonna matter besides this. And I'm still gonna take care of business, right? So like the heart of our business is still prospecting, but it takes time to get there, right? So during that time, I was still doing open houses, I was still doing the door knocking, I was still doing the cold calling. But it's not gonna be, 60 days, 90 days, and you might get 1 or 2. This is a process. It might take you 6 months, it might take you 18 months, right? To really figure yourself out. But if you're committed to do it, there's nothing stopping you guys, right? Like, we live in a world where you can get on your phone and turn on the camera and you could be a star, right? Like right? Like, right? Like that's why I think about it, right? Like I grew up, not privileged. We grew up super poor, and then all of a sudden, like, we make these videos and, we're producing millions of dollars at GCI. Like, I have no business being in front of you guys right now. And it all came from just getting in front of a freaking camera and not being afraid to speak and share. And now, we're here, so.
We're out of time, but last question. I noticed you guys are doing a lot of fire content. Are you guys doing anything for listings?
Yeah, we are. So we'll finish up with this. Our message is all about the messaging. Our focus is on move-up buyers. So it's like find your niche and what works and go with that. So it's hitting that hard. And we that's what we do, right? Hey, sell your old ugly home, buy this nice brand new house. So are we getting listings from it? Yes. Right. I think we signed just in the last 10 days. We probably signed about just under 4 million in listings. and they're all from social media. So, yeah. Yeah, CapCut's the easiest one. CapCut, I would use CapCut for everything. Don't complicate it. You don't need these fancy videos. You don't need a fancy editor. You can work to there. So like now our business has evolved, right? Where we have VAs, we have editors, we have people who post for us, we have people who call for us, and that's kind of building the business side of it. But if you're gonna do it, CapCut's the way to go. Or like Reyes just edits straight through Instagram. He doesn't use any software. So again, don't make excuses. Go out there and do the dang video.
And then one more thing, just to kind of add on to that too. Think of this as like a 24-hour advertisement for you, right? You could door knock, but you're gonna stop once it hits a certain time. You can make phone calls, but you're gonna stop once it hits a certain time. You can make a video, and somebody's gonna be up at 2, 3 in the morning, and that's when they're gonna see it, and that's when they're gonna DM you, right? And you never know when that person. It could be a video you posted 6 months ago, but that's what they watch, and that's what's gonna get them to reach out to you, right? Whereas before, you got to pay to be on the radio, you got to pay to be on TV. This is all free, guys. And I don't know, at some point, I would think they're going to charge, right? But right now, it's still free. So get in while you still can, because it's still early to the game. There's a ton of opportunity out there for you guys. I would really take this very, very seriously, because it's a new day. It's a new day, and this is how people are getting business now. So I would strongly encourage you to hop in while you can.
All right. Perfect. Round of applause. Good job.